Welcome everyone. We're here with Adrienne Patrick from Mary Kay. She's going to talk about some great expertise she has on store and home and one-on-one selling with her products. Adrienne, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Hi guys. Again, my name is Adrienne and I've been doing Mary Kay for about 11 years now. I originally got in because I love the product and I wanted the 50% discount. But I stuck around because I loved what the product did for my skin and I wanted to be able to help other people do the same thing. And then I also knew what being in this culture did for me personally, and I wanted to be able to do that for others. I'm currently a director in qualification, which means I'm moving towards being a director, either finishing this month, well, we'll say this month or next month, just because sometimes a little wiggle room is nice. But that gives me even more leadership opportunities and, of course, a greater income with that as well. And I've been told, and one reason I'm excited to do this interview and be a part of the book is someone told me that I'm like a bridge, that I can help fill in the gap between where someone is in the beginning and fill in the pieces of how to get to be someone who is successful. I'm good at breaking down systems. I'm good at looking at things and figuring out what it means and what that looks like and how it feels. So for someone who may seem very on the periphery of things or just very distant from success, how to get them to start understanding the steps to get them from point A to point B. So I think what I like to share and where I feel that I have done very well is I was in healthcare before this and I was a teacher after that. And the thing I loved about my health when I was a dietitian, and what I would do is I would look at each person's labs and I would look at their specific needs, their specific lifestyle, and I would come up with something very specific for them. Even if the doctors just wanted something cookie cutter, I talk to them for half an hour. I know what they need. This is what we're doing. And so I was really able to translate that very well into my Mary Kay business. What is it you're looking for? What do you need? These are your options. This is what I think you should do. What do you want to do? And I'm always very confident because I am familiar with the product and I care about people. I'm very confident in giving my suggestions because I want them to know what their options are and I want them to find something that will work. And so I really kind of apply what I've used. Once I really got into, okay, Adrienne, who are you? How do you work? Where you've been successful in other areas of your life, how can you use that in Mary Kay as well? Once I really started to get into that group is where I really started to be more successful. And I think that's important for anyone who does really anything in life, but especially direct sales, is finding your own groove and your own personality. I know I hear a lot, oh, Adrienne, this is just so you. And I mean, I get it. I understand what people are saying, but I see Mary Kay women on a large scale, and I see how different we all are. There are some people who are very introverted, and then there's me with purple hair, and everybody in between. And I just know that there is no, this is just so you. And as soon as people begin to honor who they are, they become more successful. And I think that's the other thing that makes me successful in this business is I love building a team and I love working with women and helping to encourage them. And that is part of what I do. I even posted, we have a unit Facebook page, and I posted just last night, just hit me, it was Mother's Day, and I was really thinking about my team, and I just said, I am much more interested in what you do with your life than what you do with Mary Kay. And that, to me, is very important because that's what I need to know first before I can help them be successful in Mary Kay is what do they want to do with their life? How can we build them up as a person? If they're moms, how can we build them up as a mom so they can build up their kids? So it's really, it's two parts always in Mary Kay. There's a selling piece and then there's a team building piece. And I think that has doing that together in a way that honors who I am and then helps to support others, I think is what's helped me move to where I am in the company and is going to help me move up even further.
I love it. I loved your analogy of that it's like a dietitian. So, I mean, that's something that like people are like, oh yeah, people need help. And so that's a really great analogy for consultative selling. I love that. And it was really touching the part where you talked about honoring yourself and who you are. And people saying, that's you, Adrienne. Because what I noticed in interviewing all the different people in the book, it's funny because you're like, because one-on-one selling, because that's where it's at. And I feel like, no, selling in assisted living centers, if I had known, that's the best way. And the interesting thing is, the people who are successful in their business found the method of selling that honored who they were and that touched their soul and made sense to them. And so when you find what works for you and your interests and what do you need and where you're trying to get, when all of that comes together, it's magical. And that's the formula for success. So I love that. Now, besides the one-on-one selling, which you're fantabulous, and I know later you're going to show us the room where you group selling and one-on-one selling. But right behind you, you have a store in home. Can you tell us a little bit?
I do. Yes, I do keep inventory on hand. That is one of the kind of honors and benefits of being a Mary Kay consultant, is that we do get to have inventory that we can provide immediately to our customers. I love when I had a customer, I just met her last week at a party. She placed her order and she's like, well, how long am I going to have to wait for that? I'm like, oh, I have it at home. This was, I went to somebody's house to do this one. I said, well, I can get it to you tomorrow. And she was just like, okay. People have become so used to waiting, even though we know we are a minute-to-minute society. And people really appreciate the opportunity to get to have their stuff on hand, especially when it's skincare. We always wait to the last minute. It's already out, and we certainly cannot live without it. I also feel this is the best way to build customers outside of your immediate circle, is to have inventory on hand. They know that you are legit. They appreciate the customer service. They're not buying from you because they've known you since you wore diapers. They are buying from you because they want a consultant that they can trust. And in general, no matter what avenue you're in, people are looking for people who they can trust. And I have invested in my business, and that way I feel more confident in having other people invest in my business. So I have a full store of inventory for the most part. There's a few things that I don't carry quite as much of, and I keep it on hand. And I have a system where when I order, I keep it. Actually, I'm going to start paying my assistant to kind of help me with this and keep the orders rotating so that things rotate in and out. But I love to be able to provide that customer service to my customers, both ongoing and my new ones as well.
Now, when you set it up the first time, because I think after you're open for a little bit, you got to feel like, oh, okay, this doesn't move as fast and this moves faster. Yeah. When you set it up the first time, how did you decide what to buy and how much, and what were some lessons learned after you did that?
Okay, great question. Well, what I did to make that decision is I looked at what was I going to show at parties, because what you show is what you're going to sell. And so that's where I started. And since I do mostly skincare, that's where I started. And there's fewer cleansers than there are eyeshadows. So I didn't want to buy all of the eyeshadows because they're going to want the one, or I didn't want to just buy a few because they're going to want the one I don't have. So I focused on the stuff that I was going to show at parties, and then I grew from there. So if I started to do a new type of party, like a smoky eye party, then I would get those eyeshadows in stock. Or if it is Christmas and we're going to need more spa items, then I would increase that part of the stock. Or if I notice there are things that aren't selling, kind of like you mentioned, I would, instead of rebuying it, I would let it sell down and put that money into buying a different area of inventory.
That's really neat. And I didn't even, sorry, when we interviewed, I don't even think we talked about group selling.
I don't know.
I don't think we did that one. So it sounds like you've got a smoky eye party, a spa party for Christmas, regular skincare makeover party. What are your favorite kinds? What parties seem to work the best for you? Do you have like a template for each party, or do you do games, or is it more about the products? Or
I only play one game. I play the ticket game where they ask questions about the company. I keep it really light. I keep it really fun. I'm normally totally done in an hour and a half, because I don't want women to feel like they have to budget 3 hours. So I try and keep the games small. I really don't feel there's a type of party that works any better than the other. What I have found is pre-profiling the guests ahead of time and getting to know the guests before that day is what makes a successful party, because I've already talked to them about what their needs are. I've already talked to them about the products that I think would help. So they come there interested in the products right from the beginning.
Okay, now I 100% remember interviewing you for the group selling. Remember some things you said. I'm like, oh, it just didn't come up during the interview. Yeah. Oh my God. But can you tell us about pre-profiling?
Absolutely. Pre-profiling, at least for us, is just asking them, what do they already know about Mary Kay? What's their history? Has it been positive? Has it been negative? What have they, do they know it because their best friend does it or did it and they had a great experience, or because only their grandma wears it? Because there's a stigma there that sometimes you want to kind of be breaking down that barrier a little bit from the beginning. What are their skincare needs? What is their skin like? Do they have acne? Is their skin combo, oily, normal, dry? That way, and especially because what I do is I get set up before they even get there. So I have all the products squirted on the trays. I have everything ready to go before they show up. Because that just takes, I mean, if I wait till they get there to do all this, that's 30 minutes of people just standing around. So I do all this ahead of time, so that way when we get there, it is just having fun, having friend time, and they don't have to sit around and wait for me.
It's like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I mean, you spend a lot of time before the party happens, but then it makes for a much more successful party.
Yes.
Neat. All right, perfect. And the pricing of the stuff behind you, is that all just like the same price as the Mary Kay magazine? Do you add tax? Do you add shipping? How do you
Okay, yes. What retail is yes, that is charged at retail. I pay wholesale and then sell at retail, and then I add on tax because Mary Kay charges me tax on the full retail amount. So yeah, there it is. But I don't charge shipping.
Okay, and then how do you handle do you have a cash register or Square?
The company it's called ProPay. And so we have a program that will do credit cards, or I just have like a cash, well, not a cash, but a place to collect checks and stuff like that. So not a technical cash register.
Yeah, hardly anyone has cash anymore. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Is there anything I missed that you wanted to share more about parties or your store behind? Oh, how do people, is it mostly just when you're doing a party, or do you have people call up and say, hey, can I stop by? Or
yeah. Absolutely. Facebook is a lot of way, people would just be, they'll Facebook message me or text me more so than call. Hey, do you have blah, blah, blah. And normally it's just, we kind of take a look at our schedule. They'll swing by my house, or if I'm going to be out that way. I really try and either do pickup or drop off as opposed to mailing. But I mail as well. So yes, they don't have to have a party. They get, there's the reorder business there.
Oh, sure, sure. And then tell us about how you came across all this space you're going to show us.
Well, we lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow for about 11 years, and it was quite a journey, is what I will call it. But when we walked into this house, the realtor, he came in, and he'd already been looking around. My husband and I were looking around outside, and when we came in, he was coming back downstairs. And he tries to be very unbiased, but he was just like, go see upstairs. So we come upstairs, and it already had built-in desks, built-in cabinets, built-in shelves, and then this quote-unquote extra bedroom and bathroom. It was a second master upstairs. So it had everything we needed for family was on the first floor, and then it had this second half story that we turned into my business space.
Wow, that's really nice. I know a lot of people are super jealous. Just because
this is awesome.
They've got their product in the dining room and a little bit in the hallway, and because they don't have.
I have done that. I have done it. Amazing. Yeah, my old office was my unfinished basement, and it never, in the winter, even with my heater, it never got above 55 degrees. And I would just sit down there in layers and freeze, but I wasn't going to let it be an excuse anymore. So.
Perfect. Now, can you give us a little look-see? What room are you in right now?
Right now, this is and let me turn my light back on for a second. So this is my office. You can see I've got my shelving back there. And then over here is my desk. And then this is my goal board. And I absolutely love my goal board. This has been huge for me. One, because it keeps me focused and excited. but also because it keeps my team focused and excited. And one thing I have found is that people are looking for inspiration. They are looking for something to get behind. And so I know a lot of people who aren't even in Mary Kay, who are just friends of mine, who have really enjoyed watching the growth. And so it's just something fun that other people can get behind.
No, I posted, I shared your picture of your chalkboard, and I had friends posting like, hey, does anyone know about that chalkboard pink thing? So I'm thinking of doing that for my office.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. They tell you to use frog tape. I thought frog tape was just painter's tape. It's not. It's a special kind of tape, and they want the frog tape. I can tell you more about it later, but that's my, I would have known. I wish I would have known. But then this is my studio. Oh, there we go. Were you able to see that okay?
Uh-huh. And that's where you, oh, sorry. I take pictures while I do the interview. Now, this is where, like, you do your in-home party things then.
Yes.
And how many people do you have room for there?
I can do 12.
Oh, okay.
12.
And then I think I've seen, I have memories of something like, parties for girls or little.
Oh, my princess parties.
That's what
Yes. Is it okay if I go back and sit down? I talk with my hands. It gets a little difficult after a while to not have my hands. Yes, we do princess parties. Oh, and they love it. The cutest thing is when you turn that mirror around and they see themselves and they really think that they're a princess. Yes, that room is so fun for that. Just any girls' night out, mother-daughter nights. What I really want to start getting into as well is like prom. Like all the girls just come and hang out, get their makeup done. I also work with a couple hairstylists, just kind of make it that's why I love that spot. And I really wanted women I didn't want them to have to worry about cleaning their house or providing snacks or anything like that. I just wanted them to be able to come for an hour and a half and have fun with their friends and then go home. And I really wanted that space to look different than just a room. And so I went for the vintage boutique look. I don't know if I mastered it or not, but that's what I was going for. But I just wanted them to have a place where they could feel like they were separate from everything else, just pull away for a little bit, and then go plug back into their life and feel a little bit better.
Awesome. Amazing. Now, do you also do team meetings in that room?
I do not right now. Right now, we have another director who is actually our leading director right now. Once I am out of DIQ and I become my own director, I will pull out and start holding our own meetings. We do have local meetings in Lee Summit that are always amazing, but we also have online Facebook groups for our unit. It's a great way to post questions and flyers and videos. Wednesday evenings, we do 2 different Facebook training groups that are always on point. They are timely. They are usable. That's what I love, is that they're usable. It's stuff I can take and translate, and it's got meat to it. I love that. And then Saturday morning, we do Zoom conferencing training. So we've got a lot that people all over the nation can plug into that is very timely and usable.
That's great. That's great. Now, so they don't even have to be close by. Now, this Saturday one, is that more inspirational?
It's really all of it, and it just depends. That's what I love about it. It gets planned about the week prior, during the week prior to the Saturday. So it's, where are we as a unit? Where are we as a company? Where are we as people? Do we need nuts and bolts right now? Do we need rah-rah, shish, boom, boom, bah? It's really, that's what I love about it, is there's no, it's whatever we need, and it's really always exactly what we need at the right time.
Perfect. Wonderful. Now, I'll have your name and everything, obviously, with the video, but how would people get a hold of you if they wanted to ask you questions or get a hold of you directly? What's the best way?
I would say just to
email or Facebook.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, is email or Facebook. That way.
And how do you spell Adrienne? I mean, can you spell us out? How do they find you on Facebook? Because there might be other Adrienne Patricks or.
It's ADRIENNE, Patrick, PATRICK. And then you'll probably find a picture of me with purple hair, or of my 2 little girls, or my dog, or my husband. He hides most of the time, but he is around.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy you're in the book, and your expertise and the things that you've done. I mean, it's just amazing, and I really appreciate you sharing.
Thank you. I'm excited. It still blows my mind that I'm a part of a book. It's mind blowing. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. You bet. Thank you.